well, coming up on the time or the moment you've been waiting for. We've heard a lot from our speakers today on how we got to this point. We're going to give you a nice tour of the online resource, but first we have to introduce you to one of the tour guides. Her name is Laura Johnson, and here's a little bit more about her. Laura S. Johnson is an attorney and human rights researcher, currently serving as a legal analyst and project coordinator at the ONRTIP Group and as research associate at the Nexus Institute. She is also an adjunct instructor in the United States, teaching university courses in international relations, human rights, migration, and gender studies. She received her BA in sociocultural anthropology from Columbia University, her MA in International Law and Diplomacy with an emphasis on forced migration studies from the Fletcher School at Tufts University, her MA in International Studies from the Diplomatic Academy of Vienna, where she wrote her thesis on trafficking victim assistance and protection in the European Union, and her JD with distinction from the University of Iowa College of Law, where she focused on human rights and immigration law. Her research on trafficking in persons includes examinations of various aspects of the issue globally. All right, Laura, good afternoon. Laura, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Excellent. As we'd say in production speak, take it away. Over to you.
Thank you. We at ONRTIP Group have enjoyed working with Mrs. Gordon Harrison and her team on the resource library over the course of the past year. And I personally am very excited to see this moment come to fruition. Access to research and resources is a challenge for anti-trafficking practitioners who may not have the time to find and then sift through the vast body of information that exists on trafficking in persons. The ONRTIP Resource Library does the finding and the filtering for you, putting a wide-ranging collection of research and resources on human trafficking at your fingertips. There are very few online libraries that are tailored specifically to trafficking in persons. The ONRTIP Resource Library is therefore unique, not only because of the clear focus on human trafficking in Jamaica, but also because of the comprehensive scope of what is offered. Without further ado, please enjoy this tour of the resource library. Diane, are you ready?
Yes, Laura, I am.
Great, let the tour begin. When you direct your browser to the resource library, on the landing page, you will find information about the core functions of Jamaica's Office of the National Rapporteur and a practical definition of human trafficking.
This definition dispels the popular myth that actual movement is a necessary requirement for the offense of trafficking in persons. Adults and children alike can be trafficked within their own homes without any type of movement taking place.
However, in terms of a legal definition, there is a direct link that takes you to the Trafficking in Persons Prevention, Suppression, and Punishment Act, which is the parent legislation used to combat trafficking in persons in Jamaica. On the ONRTIP page, you will find information about the Human Trafficking e-learning tool.
This tool is an innovative resource that was developed by the Office of the National Rapporteur in partnership with the British High Commission in Kingston, Jamaica. It is a game changer and the first digital tool within the Jamaican landscape on human trafficking, and can be accessed through the use of a USB or flat disk drive and eventually via the ONRTIP's website.
You will also find information about how to request a copy of the e-learning tool and a discussion forum where you can use the leave a comment function to share your experiences, thoughts, and questions about using the e-learning tool in your work.
The ONRTIP page also offers information about human trafficking cases that have been prosecuted in Jamaica. This page also has links to relevant laws and policies that address trafficking in persons, including those that are specific to Jamaica.
From here, you can also link through to the Warneth Group Global Collection of Human Trafficking Laws, where you can locate individual copies of anti-trafficking laws and related materials for all of the countries in the world. The referral information page is a useful tool to help you understand Jamaica's network of stakeholders who provide services to address the varying needs and concerns of trafficking survivors, including who these service providers are, the range of services that they offer, and how you may contact them. At the bottom of the page, you can also access an electronic version of the 2019 Human Trafficking Survivors Handbook from the Office of the National Rapporteur.
The handbook covers 6 priority areas, including personal safety and security, medical assistance, accommodation, counseling and psychosocial support, education and/or employment, as well as legal support.
Finally, the Research and Resources page comprises the resource library itself, a free, open-access library which is available to practitioners, policymakers, researchers, educators, students, and the general public to improve knowledge of trafficking in persons and the anti-trafficking response in Jamaica and globally. The resource library is divided into the following subsections: research on trafficking in persons, trafficking research methods and ethics, anti-trafficking manuals, guidelines, tools, reports and resources from national rapporteurs and equivalent mechanisms outside Jamaica, law and policy.
The Research and Resources page comes jam-packed with information that allows true comparative analyses to be done. We can now easily see how Jamaica matches up with the rest of the world in combating human trafficking. The link on this page to Jamaica and the Caribbean, for example, has some interesting publications on sex workers and their experiences. Of great value too is a 2010 assessment of trafficking in the Bahamas, Barbados, Guyana, Jamaica, the Netherlands Antilles, St. Lucia, Suriname, and Trinidad and Tobago. If we then move on to the highlighted words around the world in the first paragraph entitled Research on Trafficking in Persons, a click takes us to Global Tip Research, which you will notice, as Laura said, is nicely sectionalized. This promotes ease of reference and includes not only information on different forms of trafficking, but even a focus on research on human traffickers themselves. A closer look at the 8 publications under this focus on human traffickers reveals that they are hard-hitting and compelling pieces which take the reader into the mind of a human trafficker. Who is he or she? And why did he or she do this to another human being?
Additional research included in this section covers different forms of trafficking, different aspects of the anti-trafficking response, namely prevention, prosecution, and protection, including identification, assistance, and reintegration, and research on traffickers and trafficking operations.
The Trafficking Research Methods and Ethics section includes resources on approaches and methods in conducting research and data collection on trafficking in persons. This section also provides reflections on ethical considerations as well as practical guidance on how to undertake human trafficking research ethically and legally.
The Anti-Trafficking Manuals, Guidelines, and Tools section includes manuals, guidelines, standard operating procedures, and other tools that are used in different aspects of operational anti-trafficking work, as well as some on related issues such as child protection. These are divided by materials that are specific to Jamaica and those from other countries and regions. Within each subsection, these are further divided by those focused on prosecution and law enforcement responses and those that are aimed at protection efforts.
And lastly, the reports and resources from national rapporteurs and equivalent mechanisms outside Jamaica section provides information about the role and functions of countries that have established national rapporteurs or equivalent mechanisms. Each country section explains the structure of the function in that country and provides links to reports, research, and materials produced and published by the country's national rapporteur or equivalent mechanism. Here's a fun fact. Finland is one of the featured countries on the website, and it is the Finnish model's framework upon which Jamaica's national rapporteurs mechanism has been fashioned.
That's right, and there you have it, a complete tour of the ONRTIP Resource Library.
Excellent. An 8-minute tour, and you guys did not even break a sweat. Thank you very much, ladies. Very well done. A very, very comprehensive website, comprehensive resource. Obviously, a lot of work done. There are 2 pages that we want to talk through for the folks who may not have seen those. Can we talk about the news page? Diane, if you could take that.
All right. So if you go onto the ONRTIP page, you will see a section that deals with resources and publications. And if you actually click on the link that says resources, it will take you to the ONRTIP annual reports, in fact, even the handbook on survivors and other publications that have been authored by the office. And of course, we commend them to all the readers because we think it provides very localized and relevant information to really educate and help boost up the prevention tools.
Okay, so it's ONRTIP in the news, and it has a ton of articles.
Quite a bit, yes. And it's dynamic because we'll keep adding as time progresses. Yes.
Excellent. Okay, Laura, maybe you can speak to me a little bit about the web page, the reports page.
Yes, sorry, my connection was briefly unstable, but on the ONRTIP page.
All right, so.
Source it? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you now. Go ahead. All right, Laura's giving us some gremlins. It happens. It's a live production. So go ahead, Dan. You can speak to that page for me.
Right. So again, you would have seen projected on screen just now some samples of the annual reports that we have produced. On that page, you'll also find special publications. For example, in December of 2018, we looked at the underbelly of human trafficking, where we highlighted the hotspots in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Where does human trafficking take place? What does it look like? What are the forms that are manifested? And we try to keep our publications very fresh. Of course, it's not a static page. And like the other pages that deal with the news, we will be updating as we go along.
Okay, so I want to say thank you to Laura, who joined us this afternoon. We're going to head now to your questions. Again, Instagram, it's ONRTIP. If you're on Facebook, it's the Office of the National Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons. I have one here from @Totes and Gems on Instagram, asking about the gains that have been made since the National Office of the Rapporteur was established in Jamaica.
All right. So every year there is a ranking system, if you will, and this ranking is done by the U.S. State Department as to how countries globally are doing. So Jamaica at one time, we had toppled to the Tier 2 watch list. Now there are 4 tiers, Tier 1 being the highest, Tier 2 watch, and then Tier 3, which has serious economic sanctions that accompany it, and also just in terms of global trade and so on. And so with the implementation or the appointment of the rapporteur, it was certainly cited as a best step, if you will, and really demonstrated the government of Jamaica's seriousness with tackling human trafficking. Some of the gains that we've made, certainly, as the minister has said, and in fact anybody who works in the area of human trafficking, they will tell you that at the heart of it, it's a human rights violation. So the Human Trafficking Survivors Handbook that we have in fact produced is really a guide for anybody who is somebody who has gone through a human trafficking experience, or anyone who may not even recognize that they're being trafficked. it gives them that empowering information as to what steps they can take to get out of that situation, or if it is that they're out of it, what steps they can make towards normalcy. So how can they access help in all areas of life to try to repair some of the scars that would have been inflicted by human trafficking. Another great gain that we're very happy about is an e-learning tool that we produced in collaboration with the British High Commission. And essentially that's a tool for first responders, for persons who are working in our ports, whether it's port security, immigration officers, customs, police, to consistently have access to knowledge that tells them what does human trafficking look like. If they see it manifesting, who do they contact? What do they do? Because we're all about preventing it from taking place as well. And as you know, capacity building and public education with our stakeholders who are on the front line is one of those key steps that we have to embrace. So those are just two. I could go on, but I really want to encourage people and drive them to the library, where they will see a slate of not only recommendations, but actual concrete steps that we've taken to improve Jamaica's anti-human trafficking profile.
And the aim is to be able to eliminate human trafficking by?
Well, the Sustainable Development Goals have tied it to 2030. As you know, we have our own national development plan that says, 2030, certain things will happen in terms of that Vision 2030 statement. We recognize that, though, with the lens of being a realist as being very aspirational. Human trafficking is a very dynamic area. It is organized crime. It generates quite a lot of profit. So each time that there are gains that are made by our security forces, for example, human traffickers find new innovative ways to come again. So we will continue beyond 2030, in my estimation, but of course we hope to make a serious dent in some of the practices that already exist.
Okay, so let's drive some traffic to the website. Where are folks going? What do we plug in? What are we looking for to access this amazing online resource?
Yes, all right. So if I could pull that up. I will ask you to come back to that, Simone, but it will be launched, as you know. We'll do a grand to-do when you're doing your wrapping up. But as we said, it's a public resource, and we will share that information certainly during the course of this particular launch.
Okay, so with that said, if you could do me the honor, or do us the honor, of officially launching the online resource.
Very good. All right.
All right, guys, we're just putting up the information so we can get that done for you.
Sorry, hold on. I guess this is one of the downfalls of a live.
It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It happens.
Okay.
It happens. All right, it's the online resource, Trafficking in Persons website. If you type it in, Office of the National Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons, no doubt the information will come up and you'll be able to access it. I'm sure after this, Diane and her team will upload the relevant information to their social media pages, Instagram, whether it's Instagram or Facebook, for you to be able to access that information. It can tell you exactly where it is that you need to go. So, Mrs. Gordon-Harris, I'm going to ask you to just officially declare the site open.
So it is my distinct pleasure, privilege, and honor, really, to be sharing and to be officially launching and declaring open access to everyone who is so interested, the Office of the National Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons online resource library, which will give you all things human trafficking. So the site is officially open.
And we have confetti. Congratulations to you and the entire team on getting this done. We are going to have another worker bee on this project, Tamisha Udosen from the Office of the National Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons in Jamaica, move our vote of thanks. First, let's tell you a little bit about her, and then she'll come back and thank all the folks who are involved in putting this together. Tamisha Udosen is Jamaica's first anti-human trafficking officer. She's been working with the Office of the National Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons since 2016. In her current capacity as Senior Anti-Human Trafficking Officer, she recommends policies and initiatives geared towards countering human trafficking and human smuggling. Mrs. Udosin holds a BA in Spanish and International Relations from the University of the West Indies, Mona, a Bachelor of Laws from the University of London, and a Master of Laws from the University of Washington. All right, Tamisha, over to you to move the vote of thanks. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Simone. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
The Honorable Dr. Horace Chang, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, the Honorable Mr. Justice Brian Sykes, Chief Justice, Reverend Newton Dixon, President, Jamaica Council of Churches, the Honorable Justice, Mrs. Lisa Palmer Hamilton, Judge of the Supreme Court, Mrs. Carol Palmer, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, and Chairman of the National Task Force Against Trafficking in Persons, Mrs. Diane Gordon Harrison, National Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons and Children's Advocate of Jamaica, Mrs. Sharon Millwood Moore, Senior Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, Mr. Anthony McLaughlin, Assistant Commissioner of Police, Acting, Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, CTOC JCF, Mr. Mikolaj Slumka, Political Economic Officer, U.S. Embassy Kingston, Ms. Kendra Kreider, Senior Advisor, Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons, JTIP, U.S. Department of State, Ms. Marissa Pietrobono, Program Officer, Office to Monitor and Combat Trafficking in Persons, JTIP, U.S. Department of State, Mr. Stephen Warner, CEO and founder of the Warner Group, representatives of ministries, departments, and agencies, international development partners, members of the diplomatic and consular corps, distinguished guests, moderator, Mrs. Simone Clark Cooper, anti-trafficking advocates and partners, victims and survivors of human trafficking, members of academia, students, teachers, or followers and viewers on social media. Ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant afternoon to you all. It is truly an honor to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of the Office of the National Rapporteur on Trafficking in Persons, I wish to extend a hearty thank you to all our speakers and invited guests for sharing in this virtual launch today and for making this event a true success. Firstly, I wish to express our sincere thanks to the Honorable Dr. Horace Chang for his insightful remarks and for emphasizing the need for sensitization and education as proven methods to combat the scourge of human trafficking. Sir, we thank you for taking time away from your very busy schedule to be here with us today. We are indeed grateful. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for Ms. Marissa Pietrobono joining us all the way from Washington. We thank you for your remarks on the Child Protection Compact, which has truly been a remarkable partnership and intervention for Jamaica as it seeks to enhance our capabilities to eradicate child trafficking in all its forms. Further, we are grateful to Ms. Alaire Livingstone for her remarks on behalf of the Warner Group, with whom we here at ONRTIP enjoy a great amount of synergy in working together to make the Human Trafficking Online Resource Library a reality. We are also grateful to Ms. Laura Johnson from the Warner Group for the amazing work that she has done in helping us to develop the online resource library and also for giving us a guided virtual tour of this innovative tool. Many thanks also to Mrs. Diane Gordon Harrison, the captain of the ship here at ONRTIP, as well as the members of staff for their continued hard work and dedication to fulfill the mandate of the office. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, an event like this cannot happen overnight. It requires planning and a bird's eye for details. We have been fortunate enough to have on board an amazing moderator, Mrs. Simone Clark Cooper, who is backed by a team of very motivated and dedicated individuals who have worked tirelessly to ensure the success of today's launch. We are truly thankful. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to share that we are grateful to all the speakers on this virtual stage and to everyone viewing this event on our social media pages. We thank you so much for sharing with us on this occasion. It has truly been a great pleasure. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Tamisha. Before we wrap it up, put the bow on it. You found your comments. Go ahead.
All right, so the website is actually Jamaica National Rapporteur, one word, .wordpress.com. So that's Jamaica, Jamaica, National Rapporteur, .wordpress, which is another one word, WORDPRESS.com. Once you go there,
screen, right?
That's
okay.
it.
All right.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. All right, folks, so please give a visit to find, as Diane says, all things human trafficking and how we can play a part in trying to work with the government of Jamaica to eliminate this scourge. It's only left for me now to thank you very much and to thank you all for logging on wherever you are across the world and to wish you all the very best as we continue to navigate uncertain and unprecedented times. My name is Simone Clark Cooper, and I invite you to please stick to the protocols to ensure that you keep yourselves and your families safe. From Jamaica and from this virtual launch, good afternoon.